All right. So, in the episode today, we're going to talk about some key lessons that I learned from having a social circle that actually fell apart and quote unquote disbanded. Just a little background about the social circle first. This is something that I kind of formed, met two guys. One of them became my best friend for years. Then through them, met people. And then through just being at outings with them, met people. I met some people that I pulled into it. So over time, this grew. And every Friday night or every Saturday night, sometimes twice a week, I would host pre games at my place. And we would, all pregame together, hang out, and go out to the nightlife and basically just have a good time and try to talk to girls. And that's kind of how it started. It was just kind of a nightlife posse. And then over time, it came to, going out to eat together, going to concerts together, going to games together. This social circle that I'm talking about lasted about 2.5 years actually. And anyways, this disbanded for one reason or another. I talked about a lot of these individual people throughout other videos if you are a subscriber of the channel. But when this social circle fell apart, I just wanted to go ahead and hop right into some of the lessons that I learned. So the first one is that you know people really only want to be around you if they feel better when they're around you, right? That's kind of obvious to say, but sometimes we don't really mean harm on people. So what I mean by that is if you're cold approaching and you're getting more results than your friends, or if you're getting more dating success, or if they just feel less than around you, they just defaultly don't feel that good around you, right? Or they're comparing themselves to you, or they're trying to compete with you. So people, they only really want to spend time over and over and over again with people that they feel good around. And that's why I'll bring into the next point, charisma, vibe, that's very important because those are key attributes, skills that you could develop and that make people in general feel better around you as well. you know Another thing that I learned as well is that all relationships and friendships, they're really value exchanges, right? They're transactional to a degree. So what I mean by that is, what value is someone bringing to someone? Is it just having they feel like they're a genuine shoulder to lean on, or they think that they're cool, or they're a wingman at a bar, so they actually, the value is someone to hang out with, but also to try to meet girls with. The value might be that they have a big social circle, and this is someone I could meet more people through, things like that, right? So there's always kind of a value exchange going on both sides, or their friendship, in my opinion, never really works. And again, value could be as simple as just wanting an authentic friend, and that's the value they provide. So it's kind of different for everybody, and their own individual, what they're looking for and their values. A huge lesson that I learned as well is don't overshare. This is something that really hurt me, and it was a lesson that I had to learn the hard way. So oversharing, things about my successes, which would cause jealousy or competition in people if they internalize it as bragging, or oversharing in particular. What I learned is I never talk to my friends about my dating life ever. That's a big thing I learned. If you're going on a date, oh, I got a date Friday, man. Well, the next time you hang out with them, they're going to go, dude, how was the date, man? How'd it go? And if you got ghosted on, or if she rejected you, or if she gave you the cheek when you went to kiss her, right now you got to tell this shit, right? And it just, sometimes you would run situations by people, and then you would have to get their advice, or they would critique you but you don't agree with the critiques. Or, dude, this is the one I really hated with my friend circle. Dude, did you bang her? Dude, did you bang her? Did you bang her? Did you bang her? Like, come on, dude. Like, so I learned, and it's really, really helped me. I learned I just do not share about my dating life with anybody. So with your social circles, the ultimate lesson here is to be protective of the information that you tell people. Another lesson I learned as well is that many friendships have a life cycle and aren't forever, right? You outgrow a lot of people, people's life paths and values go down different angles over time as we get older. And sometimes, if you believe in God, or, a greater power, things are put into our path, to learn from them, to grow, to have experiences, and to move on, right? So not everyone's meant to be, a forever friend. You're also going to find out that maybe some of your friends that you thought were friends are actually fake friends, or will come to betray you, right? So they might try to sleep with a girl that you're dating, or they might try to stab you in the back in some form or another, or talk shit about you behind your back, right? So that's another, really rude awakening is, just seeing how, people that you've authentically, been there for and had good vibes for. I've had people where, I even, really, really helped them out and then they fucked me over. So, that's another lesson I learned as well. I talked earlier in the video just very briefly about not coming off too perfect or to create jealousy. This is something I think is in the 48 Laws of Power with Robert Greene. But, what I mean by that is, in friendships, a lot of times the things that they initially liked about you, they end up resenting about you down the line. So, for example, I've met friends out in nightlife at the club. I've been with girls, or I was rizzing girls up, and I think they either thought I had a cool vibe, they met me, and they thought, wow, like I could get girls through this guy. Like he knows he's here with two girls. I was actually making out with two girls. This is a real story of how I met a friend I was friends with him for 2 years before I cut him off. And I was making out with two girls at a bar, and they were just like in the vicinity. We started chatting, and then they were like, dude, this is why I need to work out, man, look at this guy. And we exchanged numbers, and they, of course, they wanted to hang out with me. They came over. One of them ended up sabotaging my cold approaches, right? Because so he initially thought, oh wow, I like this guy, he gets girls, maybe I could get girls. Then he realizes that I'm not going to set him up or wingman him, because he made me look bad, just the way he would carry himself sometimes. But then they go to resent you over those things. So familiarity breeds contempt, right? So a lot of times, in the infancy stages of any relationship, right? So, the first 1, 2, 3 months of a friendship, people are on their best behavior, they're supportive, but if you start hanging out with motherfuckers all the time, just all the time, right? And you've been locked in now for a year, right? Now you're very familiar, you're around each other too much, and it actually breeds some resentment, some contempt. There's just little idiosyncrasies about both people's personalities that now irks people and bothers people about each other. So what I realized is and this is, this is just me personally, this might apply to other people who are watching the video, but what I learned as well is I'm never want to have a best friend again in my life, right? I keep all my friendships at an arm's length now. I keep them, as close as I can, but at an arm's length. I even tell people, they're like, dude, we're gonna be best friends, man. I love hanging out with you. I'm like, dude, I don't do best friends. They're like, what do you mean? I'm just like, dude, I got my own goals, got my own shit going on. I don't do best friends, bro. Like I'm someone, I'm never gonna be enough for you if what you're looking for is to hang out with me 4 or 5 times a week. Like I'm a once or twice a week maximum guy, and once a week is really preferred for me. But what I learned again is I keep these people at an arm's length. I shelter some of the information that I tell them. Like this YouTube channel, I don't plan to tell anyone about this fucking shit until one day it hits 10,000 subscribers. Maybe then I'll tell people about this shit. And obviously, some of my friends will go back, and if I gave them this channel and go back to look at some of these videos, they'd be pissed the fuck off about some of the takes that I've had and some of the videos that I made. They'd be like, wow, this motherfucker was talking about me. That's how he really feels. It's one of the reasons I made this channel, not to get on a tangent, is to be able to truly, truly authentically share how I feel. Because obviously these thoughts, and I'm a straight shooter, right? If I talk like this to people in my social circle, they wouldn't want to fucking be around me, right? It's not that it's a negative vibe, but it's a little abrasive, and and it could piss people off very quickly or make them feel like shit really quickly, right? So anyways, one thing that I want you guys to do that are watching the video is I want you to audit your friendships. This is something that I did about 2 years ago, and it really benefited me. I think it was Fat Joe. So he's a rapper. He said, God, spoke to him or came to him and said, test these guys, So he was a rapper, big baller, was in private jets with like a posse. These rappers bring around like 20 people with them and they support their whole lifestyle, right? So he said, test these people. Tell them that I'm broke. I don't have any more money. I'm sorry, guys. And see who's going to really be there for you. So he sat them all down. He said, guys, I don't got it like that no more. I don't have any money. I'm sorry, guys. He was supporting their whole lifestyle, everything. And he said 19 of them fucking left his ass, and one of them stayed and said, you want to know what? You were there for me from day one. I'm always going to have your back. I'm always going to be there for you, my guy. 1 out of 20. So I use that same philosophy and thought process in my life. I decided, dude, there's just some of these friendships where I feel like I'm the one that puts in all the effort. Like where I reach out like 80, 90% of the time. I said, I'm going to cut way back. I actually decided I'm going to never talk to anyone again, right? I do things a little impulsively and extreme sometimes, but I decided I'm never going to talk to anyone again until they contact me. I'm going to see who my real friends are. So I said, the ones that contact me, I'll keep hanging out with, and the ones that don't, fuck them. I mean, it took some of these guys, some of them, it took them one day. Some of them, it took them 7 days. Some of them, it took them a few days. Some of them, it took a few weeks. And then there were some where it took them fucking months, 6 months. And I'm just not friends with them anymore. I'm like, okay, so that's exactly what happened. The second I stopped reaching out to them, it took 6 months. I have one motherfucker, it took him a year. And then he wanted to hang out with me over the 4th of July the other day. And I just wasn't interested at the end of the day. So, guys, these are just some thoughts I had again about having a social circle and a friend group that disbanded. I have since reestablished a social circle, and I kind of learned a lot of valuable lessons that are helping me with these new connections that I've formed as well. Now, one final bonus tip that is really, really important that I want to mention is be aware of how intermingling your friendships might negatively impact you. So what I mean by that is I will intermingle my friends, but preferably, and maybe it's a control thing, I feel more comfortable one-on-one with people. I have all their attention, they have all mine, but I don't like intermingling my friends too much. There's a lot of people, guys, that are friend stealers. Anyone I introduce them to, anyone. They add them on Instagram, they get their number, and they text them. These people they're desperate to make connections, some of these people, right? So it bothers me. And then, me, I only want to hang out with people once a week, right? Well, what if their social needs are more frequently than that? So now all of a sudden I introduce these two people. I was hanging out with this guy once a week, right? Hypothetically, and now they're hanging out twice, 3 times a week. Now they're closer than me. Like, that just pisses me the fuck off. Maybe it's an issue with me, but again, I just hate when I introduce people. I've had people where it's a weird dynamic. Like, it was like 3 of us who went on a vacation together, and then the dynamic was almost like they turned on me genuinely. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, just be really cognizant of certain people and their actions. If you bring them around people, are they 100? I have people where I know 100% of the time, if I introduce them to someone, they'll chat with them, be like, dude, you on Instagram, man? Oh, nice. And they'll 100% DM them. And it's a little cringe. And I feel like it's stepping on my toes a little. I'm someone where if you bring me around your friends, I'll be super fucking cool, super fucking cool. I'll only asked for their number if we had like a really substantive, deep convo and like really connected. Or if we've now seen each other numerous times. But what bothers me is the people where they meet someone and it's just like every fucking person within 3 minutes, they want to like, oh, dude, no, super nice meeting you, dude. Yeah, let's exchange contact. It like bothers me. So anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap the video up. Like, comment, subscribe, leave your thoughts and feedback below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions as well. And I'll see you in the next video.